tune in right there, check in, and get me on heat100radio.airtime.pro for the live feed as I'm talking to you right now live. So give me 1 second. We're going to work with this. All right. So here we go. We here. It's your boy. And we got I think we got 52, maybe about 52 days until football season starts up again. So I'm looking forward to that. Training camp will be starting end of the month, probably next week, as a matter of fact. Training camp will be starting. So we're getting closer. All right. We are definitely getting closer to where we want to be. Right? So, again, as always, you know what we do. We'll give you some scores from yesterday. Got some all-star breaks going on for, like, Major League Baseball. Got a couple games tonight for the WNBA. But, like, again, it's just this is our quiet time. But we are coming to the end of the quiet time. Like I said, training camp, football starts next week. And then pretty soon we'll be getting some preseason games. And then we'll be getting into some other stuff, right? So, also, on today's slate, let me tell you, I got some more archetypes for you because I thought that was fun, and I bring them back, in this time, finding things to bring to you guys, to talk to you guys about, and I feel like you guys are having fun with it. I feel like you guys like it and enjoy it. So I brought another one back. Actually, I brought two today, and we're going to talk about the two. All right, a little bit later on. So from yesterday, Major League Baseball scores: Cubs and the Yankees. The Cubs take that 4-1. The Marlins go up on the The Marlins beat the Orioles 11-1. The Rays fall to the Red Sox 4-1. The Rockies fall to the Reds 4-2. The Mariners double up the Tigers 8-4. The Guardians just get by the White Sox 6-5. The Mets fall to the Royals 3-2. Pirates get by the Twins 2-1. The Rangers outlast the Astros 5-1. The Nationals fall to the Brewers 8-1. Braves fall to the Cardinals in another tight one, 5-4. Dodgers get by the Giants 5-2. The Blue Jays fall to the A's 6-3. Diamondbacks 5, Angels 1. The Phillies get by the Padres 2-1. In the WNBA yesterday, the Wings fall to the Fever 102-83. The Sun fall to the Sparks 92-88. The Dream fall to the Liberty 79-72. And the Mystics get by the Storm 74-69. All right, so I'll give you the two games in the WNBA tonight a little bit later. But again, like I said, we're in our quiet time for sports. So we had to have some things to bring to you. Before I get into this, just a couple things, some news and some updates for you. Cole Anthony, as we know, we've already into our NBA, our free agency, post-draft, we're into our summer league and all that kind of jazz. So Cole Anthony was traded to the Grizzlies. He's expecting to be bought out, or he has been bought out. He is looking to join the Milwaukee Bucks. Former NBA player Ben McLemore has been sentenced to 8 years for rape. Louis Sharp, a former NFL Cardinals left tackle and three-time Pro Bowler, dies at age 66 over the weekend. Shakur Stevenson retains his title with a decision over Zepeda. Ndamukong Suh announces his retirement from the NFL. The Mavs are shutting down Cooper Flag for the summer. All right, the Phils ripped Major League Baseball and the voting for the All-Star game for not having some of their players there, and gentleman Jacob Mizorowski. Phillies are upset about that, and they feel it's a disgrace. So that's what they stand for. And Pistons guard Malik Beasley has been banned for life by the NBA for gambling. Apparently, he has gambled on games that he played in, as well as some other games. So there you go, banned for life. Why in the world would you didn't learn anything from Pete Rose, the situation, and some other people most recently? What? I don't understand it. These people are getting paid millions of dollars, millions and millions of dollars, right? Millions of dollars. And to gamble on a game that you're playing, and that's illegal. You can't gamble on it. You can't bet on it anyway, because you're in the league, and then two, it's a game that you're playing in. And you didn't think that you were going to get caught at some point? Right. Okay. Anywho, moving along. probably might be a little quick show today, depending on how long we get through these. And I'm going to talk a little bit about them. All right. Again, another set of NBA archetypes. All right. This is the shooting guard edition. And again, shout outs to halfpast.noon on Instagram. That's at halfpast, HALFPAST.NOON for making these things up. Check their Instagram out. They come up with these, and I felt like in this downtime that we had, they were interesting things to talk about, somewhat engaging to a lot of my listeners who have joined in on these and have agreed with some of the stuff, and have also had their input on some of what was said about these particular archetypes. So to start off, all right, they have what they call space invaders. Right? These are guys or players that have a lightning quick release from deep. Their deep range forces defenses to stretch. They thrive in catch and shoot sets. Rarely attack off the dribble. Limited playmaking or rim pressure. They struggle creating when ran off the line. Limited rim pressure or ISO creation. Extremely high three-point rate. They rarely force shots. Excel with space and timing. Low mid-range usage, and most makes are assisted. So, do we agree? Do we not agree? I tend to agree with most of these here. And I'm looking at what I like their title, Space Invaders, and I'm looking at, it says low mid-range usage. When I get to the other one, you'll understand why I'm having a little issue with this. And I've said this going back to the NBA playoffs, where I talked about how it's amazing how the game has changed just so much, where everything starts around the three-point line. Like you rarely see anyone on the low block and posting up and things of that. So for this, when they say Space Invaders, I'm thinking of how I play and what I think about in basketball. And I feel like if this is the case, they're Space Invaders, then that space is there inside the three-point arc. Doesn't have to be. But again, going on today's game, this is where today's NBA is. So I agree with most of the things there under the Space Invaders, but there are a couple. Like I said, the low mid-range usage, yes. I kind of disagree with that. The rarely attack off the dribble, I don't know. I can kind of agree with that. Sometimes, yes, they can struggle when they're creating, when they're ran off the line. And then their limited rim pressure and ISO creation. Yeah, you can argue that. So, yeah. Next up, Better Call Ball. These are elite ISO and pull-up creators. They're reliable shot makers across all levels. Command defensive attention. Usage heavy, sometimes ball sticky. They can stagnate offenses without movement. Balanced diet, rim, midi, and three. Heavy pull-up J. Draws help, opens up teammates. A 1 or 2 option. An on-ball creation artist. So, this one here is your stud, your guy. Okay. Better Call Ball. Yeah, I can get behind this. A lot of these. These are, like we said, these are the guys that want the ball, and then they'll tell you to clear out because they want to go one-on-one. All right. They're usually your number 1 or your number 2 option. Correct. The part I like when it says they can stagnate in offenses without movement. Yes. Because you have times when they may be that one option and people, the rest of the team is standing around watching what they're going to do and what's going on. So I can definitely see that. They can make shots across all 3 levels. So there's no actual way you can probably stop them. You would just have to do your best to contain a player like this. Because like I said, they can score from all levels and close to the rim, in the mid-range, and extend out to the 3. Like I said, a balanced diet of the rim attacking the rim, the midi, and the 3. All right. And they're heavy on pull-up jumpers. I can agree with that. That means they don't really like to get to the cup too much. Probably don't want a lot of contact, but they will pull up on you, drive hard, pull up on you, and stick that J in your face. All right, slasher films. Right, these are excellent rim and touch and feel for collapsing defenses. Above average assist rates, especially off live dribbles. Keep the ball moving and recognize passing lanes quickly. Low perimeter shooting threat. Limited pull-up scoring gravity. Can struggle when the lane is clogged or poor floor spacing. High concentration of attempts at the rim. Few self-generated threes or mid-range. And excel when downhill momentum and quick decisions. So, these are your typical slashers. These are guys that you're not going to run any offensive sets for. You are going to have these guys in transition. This is where they excel, in transition. They're not going to shoot many jump shots or anything unless it's close to the rim. So you're looking at the alley-oop or open layups or close shots like little floaters around the basket and things of that nature. You know, they said 0 to 3 feet. So not far away from the basket, right? They're not going to generate their own offense. You know, if a play breaks down and they're right place, right time for a putback, or they hustle, get a rebound, get a putback, that's what these guys are, all right? Your slashers, all right? Then I say low perimeter threat. So they're not going to shoot a lot. They're going to get buckets wherever they can, except for other than just pulling up J's or spotting up in the mid-range or kick out and shooting, all right? Then we have our volume hybrids. They're 3-level scorers. They can initiate or play off the ball. The athleticism mixed with skill. Sometimes turnover prone. Still refining their decision making. Streaky on nights with low usage. Mid-range and rim heavy with reliable 3-point. Drive to score first mentality. Mix of assisted and self-created looks. So these are your guys that, when we used to say it, guys that need the ball to succeed. They can score. They can shoot that 3, yes. But more importantly, they can dribble and drive to the basket, or they can play in the low post. All right? They can initiate the offense, or they can play off the ball. So they can start the offense, or they can play within the system. They are athletic, but they're not like the slashers. The slashers are mostly athletic. These volume hybrids are athletic with some skills, which also makes them sometimes turnover prone because of their athleticism and the skills. Sometimes they don't match. Right? They're streaky on nights when they're low usage. So they need the ball. So if they're not getting the ball, if someone else or some other 2 players are hot and they're not getting the ball, they can be up and down for that game. Okay. And then they have a mix. They get shots on their own and they get some that are assisted. All right. We're moving on. 3 and D stabilizers. The smart on and off the dribble ball movers. Tough defenders, high IQ, rarely create their own shot. Mid-range game is limited. It's low usage when stars dominate. Balanced spot up versus relocation shooting. Will drive when open. High corner 3 usage. So the bottom one I'm going to start there first, which is absolutely correct. The 3 and D staple for the NBA right now is that corner 3, which is the shortest 3, which they say is the easiest 3. Right? They will drive when they're open. Yeah, but a lot more times than not, they're going to spot up in that corner for that 3. All right? And like I said, they relocate. So they might start in that corner, but they're good at relocating and hitting that 3 on another angle. All right? There's low usage when stars are dominant. So when the stars on your team have it going, they're not looking for them as much. The stars are doing what they do, and if plays break down and they kick it out, then they're there. They are reliable there. All right. They are tough defenders. They have a very high basketball IQ. They really create their own shot, right? Okay, and they're not so much happy or heavy in the mid-range. All right. We have next our tempo hackers. They thrive in the up-tempo and broken plays, kind of like slashers. So they excel in transition. Comfortable attacking off the bounce. They can create offense from unpredictability. All right, they're not reliable in structured sets, defensive lapses or low motor at times, high transition and pull-up energy, mix of floaters off the rim, off the rhythm threes and rim attacks. Low assist dependency, create their own looks. So these are guys that are going to get their own shot. They also have a number of variety of shots. Like it says in, they have a mix of a floater, then that crazy off rhythm, crazy three that coaches cringe at until it goes in, and then it's like, oh, don't you? Oh, all right, I'll take it. All right, they're high transition and pull up energy. So they're high energy players. All right, so that means they're going to excel in offense and transition. All right, they're not reliable in structured sets. All right, because their skill set is not that great. They're specifics. So in certain sets, they will not be reliable. So they'll be like the fifth man out there, right, as a decoy. Now we have 3 and T. All right, confident volume shooters can shoot off movement or the dribble. Some shot creation upside, streaky and high variance. Defensive effort is inconsistent. Sometimes they hijack possessions. A deep pull-up and contested jumpers. Lower assisted rate and rhythm-heavy attack style. So means they will drive and attack the basket, but it's got to be in rhythm. So it's not like you come down court, you set the play, that's the first pass, and the defender backs off a step or two and they just attack and go there. No, it's got to be something in rhythm, like a swing, all right, like a secondary pass after that first initial pass in the offense. All right, the streaky and high variance and defensive effort is inconsistent. Yeah, you might get them some nights on defense, and then you might not get them on defense, right? So it goes up and down with them, all right? They can shoot off the movement and the dribble. So they move without the ball. So that means they can catch and shoot. And of course, they're heavier rim attacking style, so they can create their own shot off the dribble. The floor stabilizers, efficient catch and shoot specialists. They know their role and rarely force shots. They're capable team defender, limited self-creation. Can disappear without ball movement. They don't bend defenses off the dribble. They're high assisted three-point volume. Minimal rim or mid-range attempts. Floor spacers with compact shot diets. So these guys are guys that are your floor balancers. They're reliable, but they're not set up in the offense. These are the guys that they use to help space the floor. But they are considered somewhat of a threat. All right? They know their role. They know when to shoot, when not to shoot. They're not going to force shots. All right? They are capable defenders most of the time. And again, when the ball's not moving, popping, as we say, they can disappear. And you'll sometimes miss that they're out there on the court for you. All right? Mid-range and black coffee. High assist to turnover rates. Great decision makers in half court. Efficient spot up and catch and shoot opportunists. Defensive-minded guards who still provide enough playmaking juice. Lower usage rates and scoring volume. Limited ISO or rim pressure. Can disappear in stagnant offense if off ball. High percentage of midi and assisted threes. Rarely force shots. Excel with space and timing. Conservative finishers near the rim, but accurate. But accurate when they get there. So they're not your high flying guys that are going to go to the rim and dunk. They're going to go and be conservative, do the basics, lay the ball off the glass and get the bucket. All right, but they are accurate, even if they have to use a floater or whatever. They're accurate. All right, they rarely force shots. Understand their role. They excel when they're space and time. All right. If they play off the ball, they can disappear. I understand that. All right. But they're also defensive-minded guards who still can make plays, offense and defense. They're efficient spot-up shooters and catch-and-shoot shooters. All right. And then they're great decision makers in the half court. So they're going to make the right play. But they're also very good at getting other teammates shots. What they say, high assist to turnover ratio. One-man ecosystems. An elite efficiency inside the arc. Crafty footwork and counters from the elbow. Able to create offense from nothing. Great one-on-one operators. Draws fouls at a high clip. May pass up open threes for comfort zones. Can stagnate ball movement if asked to run pure motion. Limited spacing impact compared to high volume shooters. Heavy diet of jumpers, 10 to 16 feet, floaters, and pull-ups. Low three-point volume. Exceptional balance and control on dribble pull-ups. So these are your guys that are fundamentally sound. They know themselves, they play within themselves, they stay within their role. They oftentimes will pass up an open three for their comfort shot, which is 10 to 15 feet, 10 to 16 feet, if you will. The floater, the pull-up, the regular jump shot in the mid-range. 2-point jump shots, not the three, 2-point jump shots. But also, they can stagnate ball movement if asked to run a pure motion. Kickboxers. Excellent rim touch and feel for collapsing the defense. Above average assist rates, especially off live dribbles. Keep the ball moving and recognizes passing lanes quickly. Keep the ball moving and let me see. Low perimeter threat, limited pull-up scoring activity. They can struggle when the lane is clogged or floor spacing is poor. High concentration of attempts at the rim, 0 to 3 feet. Few self-generated threes or midi. And excel when downhill momentum and quick decisions. So kind of like your athletic, not so much skilled basketball players. They're going to give you that energy. They're in their best when they're attacking the rim downhill. All right. They're not going to get into their own three-point shot or mid-range, so that means most of their attempts are assisted close to the rim. High concentration of assists close to the rim, so they're not going to even look to be in the position to shoot anything unless it's close to the rim. All right, they're a low perimeter threat. Like we said, we're not going to look to shoot that jump shot. All right, limited pull-up, they're not doing that. They want to get the ball off the catch and go up and dunk, finish at the rim. All right. Everything bagels. They do a little bit of everything. Score, pass, and create. Capable of both running the offense and playing off the ball. Respectable pull-up game, growing rim confidence. All right. Not elite at any one thing. Can be inconsistent game to game. Sometimes turnover prone or inefficient in the mid-range. Spread out across all zones, paint, mid, and deep. Mix of pull-up drives and secondary creation. Moderate three-point average with some flair from 10 to 16 feet. So this is the person that can do a little bit of everything. All right. You can't really pin them down where some players you would say take away their jump shot or take away their driving ability. These are the type of players that can adjust. And this is where I say when they adjust, and this is that secondary that secondary creation. The play might break down or the play might get held up, stop. They can react to it and create, again, secondary creation, get into their shot. All right. What else is here? They're not elite at any one thing. They're just solid all the way across the board. All right. They're not a great scorer. They're not a horrible passer. But they can pass. They can score. And they can create. All right. Splash steroids. Elite three-point volume and pull-up gravity. High usage and playmaking respectability. Capable of carrying off lead for long stretches. Offensive lead, for long stretches. All right. Often inefficient inside the arc. Higher turnover rate due to play style risk. Can rely too much on ISO or step backs. Heavy diet of threes off dribble and catch. High frequency of deep J's, fewer rim attacks, strong free throw rates due to foul drawing talent. So, these are your teammates or your players that will have a high turnover rate because of their activity and their risk or their play style. All right, you see high frequency of deep jumpers, not necessarily threes, but deep jump shots. All right, and a heavy diet of threes. So they got threes and then like a step or two inside the arc, which is still, they say, the deep J's. All right, they're often inefficient inside the arc. So in the mid range, they're kind of inefficient. And it's weird when we say that, because you sometimes look at players like that and you say, how can you not make a 12-footer, but you can stand out here and shoot 19 threes and make 17 of them with ease? Sometimes it's funny. And they are very high 3-point volume shooters. Red light runners. These are people that are relentless driving ability, especially in early offense, good downhill burst and body control, aggressive attacking mindsets open up the game for teammates, poor 3-point shooting, and they struggle to score when the paint is crowded, lower shooting efficiency if the midi isn't falling, high percentage of shots at the rim, lower than average 3-point attempt rate, and midi comfort. They depend on speed, physicality, and angles to finish. So these are your guys that don't really have that offensive skill set. They're going to shoot close to the rim. This is their comfort zone. The mid-range and those jump shots in that range are not really comfortable for them. They will take those shots, but it's not in their comfort zone. Poor 3-point shooting. And then when the paint is clogged, they definitely struggle even more. So these are your athletic, in transition, energy guys that will get you buckets when plays break down or off the break in transition. The McConnellism. I thought this was kind of funny when I saw it, but the McConnellism. Exceptionally efficient in short bursts, high assist rates despite low use, midi assassin with quick decision making, no deep range gravity, defense liability in certain matchups, hard to scale his game to larger minutes, lives in the mid-range and short floater zone, barely takes threes, probing in short pick and roll constantly. When I saw this, this is why I said this, I thought it was funny, and it says McConnellisms, that everything that I just read to you right there basically summed up TJ McConnell and the way he played in this playoffs, especially after Tyrese Halliburton went down. You didn't really increase his minutes, but his play increased. And everything that one last piece just said is what he did. Don't really shoot the three. High IQ. Good playmaking. Good decision making. He lived in that mid-range. That little step or two below the foul line jump shot to the maybe a step or two outside the paint jump shot. It's where he lived, and he got it. Played within himself. Didn't do anything outside of his skill set. All right? It's one of the things that you like about guys like TJ McConnell. Also adding in, when he was here with the Sixers, good friend, call him my big bro, Joe Richmond, the best ambassador of basketball in the whole entire G League. All right, Joe Richmond. He said to me that at one point, TJ McConnell was a player that he really admired, he really liked. And his reasoning was because he was always ready to play, and he always gave you something. All right, and he played within himself. But that was the key. He was always ready when his number got called. All right, so there's that. Now, moving into the one that I've been trying to get to, and I don't know if I did get to it or not, but I wanted to talk about this other archetypes. And these are archetypes that have disappeared in modern day. Again, like I said, I don't remember if I did this one. I don't think I did. And I'm looking at it, so I know I went through it. I highlighted some stuff, but I don't remember if I did. So right now, we all know over the past decade or so, if not longer, and a lot more recently, guards have been bigger. And they more so are bigger now. Point guards are now bigger. It used to be a time when the littlest guy on the court was automatically the point guard. Today's game, that's not so much true. There are no more really short guards in the league. There are a couple, but it's not like it used to be. All right. The pure lockdown defender, pretty much gone. You will have some guy. People may argue, say, "Oh, well, Andre Iguodala," and no disrespect to Andre. Loved him when he was here. Loved what he did for Golden State, and loved his role and everything he did. And of course, kudos to him for being a hell of a defender. But when you talk about lockdown defenders, you can go back to guys like, let me see some of the names here: Tony Allen, Thabo Sefolosha, Andre Roberson. These were guys that were put on players, and by the time that game was over, you looked at the box score and you get this player could have been a star player, or like I said, the 1 or 2 option on the team. And when you look at the game after the fact, he had a mediocre game, or he had an abnormal game on an abnormal stat line due to that lockdown defender. That's not the case anymore. Like I said, you will have some solid or some really good defenders now, but I don't think any of them are like some of these guys were like lockdown defenders. And that goes into everything. It's a mental, it's a physicality, and it's an IQ thing, right? So, and one of the things you have to say is you have to have that heart, because defense is not something that you can teach. Defense is a want. You have to want to play defense. All right. It's not something that just comes to you, or people just take it nonchalantly and say, "Oh, all right, I'm on the basketball court. I got to do something on this end." No, those guys that I mentioned, Tony Allen's, Thabo Sefolosha's, hey, no chill, what's going on, sister? Those were guys that got up in you and were determined to come at you and say, "All right, you're not scoring all you average 30, yeah, the average going to drop tonight because you're not getting that tonight. You're not getting 30. And, you can go back and forth. I'm going to get this. I'm not. We're not having that tonight." And these are the guys that would get up in you and lock you up and make it extremely tough. And like I said, a lot of times, more than not, when you look at their box score at the end of that game, it was an abnormal stat line. The post-up big men. I don't know why they put this one in here. Jaleel Okafor, these names, Greg Monroe, Enes Kanter, Freedom. All right. So, again, I said to you back in the playoffs how I've noticed that the NBA has changed a lot, and I noticed that everything starts around the three-point line, right? There was that one season, a couple seasons ago, when Joel Embiid won the MVP. A lot of his play was on the post with his back to the basket. And I still sit here today and tell you the same thing I said then. When he has his head on right, when he's healthy, when he is determined to go out there and dominate, there's not too many people in the NBA that can touch him. All right. And there you can talk to people that commentate NBA pros and everything like that, other people around media that will tell you the same thing. When his head's on right, when he's healthy, there's not too many people in the NBA that can touch him. But again, the NBA is about space and pace now, taking pages from the European style play. They want more scoring. They want more showmanship or whatever. So they're relying on that three. So the days of the post-up big man to dominate, and those examples I didn't really like. So I'm going to give you some examples of my own. Like I said, Joel Embiid when he's healthy. But going back a little bit, the Hakeem Olajuwons, the Patrick Ewings, all right, Tim Duncans, David Robinsons, Moses Malones, those kind of guys, Wilt Chamberlains, Bill Russells, all right, Kevin McHale's, those guys that played big men in the post are not in the league anymore. Pass-only point guards. Very few and far in between. Because again, like I told you, today's point guards are a lot bigger and they are a lot more athletic. They're a lot more skilled. So they're more scoring point guards than they are pass, mostly point guards. You may have a couple still around in the league, but it's not many. All right. Inside the arc scores, the mid-range killers. This player style that they list here is DeMar DeRozan, Dwayne Wade, and Paul Pierce. I'll give you two more, Michael Jordan, and one that did it the best, arguably the best, I think, for a long time, Rip Hamilton. All right, Coachville native, Rip Hamilton. Dwayne Wade, yes, as well. Paul Pierce, pretty good. But DeMar DeRozan, Dwayne Wade, good. But you have to add in Richard Hamilton. And you can add in MJ in there. But more importantly, Richard Hamilton. one of the best that ever had a mid-range. To also throw back in, you could throw in Jamal Crawford. All right, these are guys that played in that 3-point range, inside that arc. All right, played to get you a bucket. Dribbled into that mid-range and got a bucket, or dribbled into that mid-range and then secondary creation, get to the bucket and finish and get the traditional and one. All right, so yeah, thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Floor spacing only big men. Ryan Anderson, Channing Frye, Andre Bargnani. These are guys that were big men that could shoot. So these were like your fours, what they call now the stretch four. But these big men were basically there for the spacing. Because if you look at it, it says spacing only big men. It means they're pulling another big man away from the basket. It helps your team with rebounds, right? So they're pulling another man away from the basket. They're doing things that you have missed in a while. So again, those positions that we said have disappeared in today's game are long lost arts in the basketball world, especially that inside the arc, or as we like to say, that mid-range, that midi. Not too many players now have that mid-range pull up, that mid-range game. Because again, like I said, the NBA has changed and it's more catered around that 3-point line and then in, as opposed to when I was coming up, it was inside out. Right? Right. So, 52 days until football begins. Eagles begin training camp next week, 22nd. I think that's Tuesday. Open practice is August the 10th at the link. Opener of the season. First game. Home opener. I was going to give you the preseason schedule, but I'm not going to give you the preseason schedule right now. Home opener. Season opener. At the link. September the 4th. Thursday nighter. 8:20 p.m. Versus Dallas Cowboys. The night the Eagles drop the second Super Bowl banner. Night that the players get acknowledged with rings. And then we get to beat the Cowboys and Micah Parsons and let them revel in that for the next 17 weeks. Or at least until they play us again when we go out there to play them in Dallas. But it won't really matter. But more importantly, they get to revel and they get to sit in that for the entire season. Like I've been telling people, and I told somebody this at work, if somebody's getting on your nerves, you're an Eagle fan, and they want to talk trash, and we only won 2 Super Bowls, okay. But more importantly, where we sit right now, we are the champions until February, until someone else is crowned the champion. If it's not us, then so be it. But we are the champions, so y'all got to suck that up and live with it. I said, tell them that. Then they'll leave you alone. Then they won't want to talk anymore. Especially the teams in our division. They won't want to talk anymore. Cowboys fans, Giants fans. Especially the Cowboys fans. And the Cowboys fans are going to run back to those, we got 5 championships. Okay. But when was the last time y'all consistently made the playoffs or got out of the first round? Y'all, Cowboys fans and franchise owners and everything, put all this money into Dak Prescott. And in his career, I think he's won 2 playoff games. Do the same thing every year. They come out, soft schedule, light in the beginning. They make a little run, and people say, we back. And then all of a sudden, the real Dallas Cowboys show up. And they fall apart, or they blow up. So, that's what that is. Again, 52 days until football. Training camp starts next week. We'll see what happens. Again, second banner dropping. First game of the season, September the 4th, Thursday night. It's the Cowboys. Gonna love it. The tailgating for that game is gonna be outrageous. I'm gonna need like 2 recorders when I go down there. I'm gonna need a battery pack or something for my phone, or I'm gonna need 2 phones because it's gonna be bananas. In Philadelphia, y'all already know how we do. All right, tailgate. We already know what goes down there, right? It's a Cowboys game. First game of the season. The Eagles get to drop a banner. So, just a rundown. If you've never been here, if you don't understand the magnitude of Eagles tailgating and then tailgating for a Cowboys game, listen, the magnitude is crazy in general, right? But the Cowboys are in town. The only thing that trumps a Cowboys tailgate is playoff tailgate, right? But Cowboys tailgate, that game is at 8. Listen, I'm telling y'all now, that means parking lots are going to be probably start to open at like 12, 1 o'clock, if not sooner. I was talking to people at work today, and I said, yo, thinking about this, man, and how Eagles tailgates end up, or how people show out. I said, it's going to be bananas. I said, yeah, I'm willing to bet that there are going to be some people that are going to miss the game. Because you figure if they get in the parking lot around 12, 1 o'clock, you're doing your thing. Say even if you start at 2, you're doing your thing. You got 6 hours. 5 before the doors open at 7. So you got 5 hours to go crazy before you get inside the link if you attend the game and get crazier. But I tell you, a time is going to be had. So y'all just be on the lookout. I'm going to keep reminding y'all about that game. But be on the lookout because the time is going to be had. And your boy is going to be around. As I always am, I'm going to be around. So make sure y'all look out. Make sure y'all tune in. When y'all catch me going live, all right? Make sure, Mel, my guy, thanks for tuning in, good brother. Make sure, September the 4th, when you down there tailgating, I'll let y'all know where I'm at. Make sure y'all come find me. Come holler at your boy, all right? Come say something to your boy. Might get you a moment of fame, all right? So, that being said, folks, it is now time to wrap some things up, right? It's hot here. It's really humid now. On my way in here today, I got caught in the rain. I was in the car, but anyway, it just rained. It was like a torrential downpour. Then it was like a sun shower pour. And then it just stopped. And it got real sticky. So be careful going home. I'm not sure if it's going to rain again later tonight or whatever, if it is. But again, be careful going home. I know a lot of you are probably getting off work right now. 4:20 is the time. 4:20 is the time. A little insider. But anyway, again, be careful going home. And once again, people, your boy is here. Heat 100 Radio is here for you. All right, y'all sit here and y'all listen to me every Monday. Y'all check in with me all week on social media. And I tell y'all all the time, if you have a voice, you want your own show, you want to start your own podcast, you want to begin your own internet radio show, we have the space, the opportunity for you. Hit me up. You can DM me right here on Instagram at SportsRap CEO, or you can send me an email. All right, sportsrap@yahoo.com is the email. All right, where you can send the stuff to me. All right, if you are a DJ or an artist, you want to get your mixes on air, you want to get your music heard on air, you want to come in as an artist, you want to come in and do an interview and promote your music, we have opportunities for that as well. Hit my DM at SportsRap CEO. Hit my email, sportsrap@yahoo.com. You can send me music. Send the music to, you can send it to sportsrap@yahoo.com. Make sure it is clean and in MP3 format. Again, clean music in MP3 format for you artists and you DJs that want to get your mixes out. All right, send them to sportsrap@yahoo.com. Again, clean mixes, MP3 format. If you own a business, sports related or otherwise, black owned, most importantly, small businesses, also important. You want to get your business out there. You want to do some advertising. We got opportunities for you. Talk to your boy. Go to my YouTube page. All right, SportsRap TV. Got a couple videos up there where I've done interviews for black-owned small businesses. All right, I'm your guy. Got those opportunities for you. If you are a business and you're looking for a collab, looking to do a sponsorship, here's your guy at SportsRap CEO on Instagram. Threads, and TikTok, right? Email sportsrap@yahoo.com. Hit that YouTube page up, right? SportsRap TV is the channel over there. Make sure you also get to that Patreon slash SportsRap, SportsRap slash Patreon.com, all right? Make sure you get that membership. You can get exclusive stuff. Some stuff is coming, all right? You can get an exclusive video. You get exclusive opportunities to win tickets because you know how we do here on Heat 100 Radio, right? Dell, Thursday Jism Bar opened up. Fantasia. Next up, I believe it's En Bull with special guest October London this Thursday. Make sure you tuned in to Heat 100 Radio, right? Make sure you following and you checking in with @SportsRap CEO. Make sure you are also checking in and following @SimplyMonica72 on Instagram. You might be able to win some tickets. But if you don't win them, you can always get over to the Dell box office and purchase your tickets there. Remember, folks, be great on purpose. I will talk to you all next week and all week on social media. All right. Major League Baseball, All-Star break. All-Star game, I believe, is tomorrow. Tonight in the WNBA, got the Lynx in the Sky, the Mercury, and the Valkyries. All right. Eagles, again, 52 days till opening day. Training camp starts Tuesday, July 22nd. Open practice August 10th, 6:30 p.m. at the Link. The preseason schedule next month, August the 7th, is the first game at the Cincinnati Bengals. Talk to y'all next week. Everybody that tuned in today, my guy, Melarelli, Coach Lowell Rich, Fly Girl Has No Chill, and my other guy, my dude, Jay Blake 5. Thank you all for tuning in. Definitely appreciate y'all support. Talk to y'all all week on social media. Right back here on Monday. Peace.